What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us again for another episode of the RPG podcast. We're here to talk about RJ Harvey today and what his 2025 Dynasty outlook could be. But first, David, how are you doing tonight?
Couldn't be better. Evan, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Mike's trying to figure out how to get the baby down, so we're holding down the fort for a little bit. But RJ Harvey, one of the fastest rising prospects. Very few saw it coming. Not going to say nobody, because very few saw that coming. With him going as high in the draft as he did, to the premier of premier landing spots, going to the Denver Broncos with Sean Payton, with the offensive line of just dreams. People love this offensive line. They love what they could do. They love the defenses that they're going up against. And, the poorest run defenses outside of the Kansas City Chiefs in that division. Man, what do you think RJ Harvey is currently going for, and what are you willing to pay, David? Because I'm seeing in a bunch of my rookie drafts him going in that 108, 109 range. I've seen some where he's gone a little bit higher, some where he's gone a little bit later.
So, again, this is just personal experience. Every rookie draft is differently. That's something that I learned a very long time ago, is that you can draft for the aggregate all you want, to as many mocks as you want. But the fact of the matter is, when you're in your draft, that is the only draft your league is going to have. Weird things could happen. You need to get prepared for it, and you need to stick with your board. Personally speaking, I've noticed Harvey's gone a lot late first, early second. Personally, he's more of an early second for me. I released my own Dynasty rookie rankings. He's my 203 in the class, and it's almost all due to the landing spot. Evan, like you said, you couldn't ask for a better spot. Back when he was with the Saints, Sean Payton had a gift for turning all his running backs into fantasy gold. That hasn't happened in Denver, largely because Javonte Williams is a corpse. RJ Harvey is not a corpse. That's very good for him. What he is, though, is 24 years old with an ACL injury. Now, we know that, again, there are exceptions to the rules all the time. We know that older running backs generally do not do as well in fantasy as younger ones, the ones that are good declare early. He's a redshirt senior. He's 24 years old. Even if he does work out, running backs tend to dip off around age 27. That means, optimistically, you're looking at a guy who has 3 or 4 years of top play in his tank. I want a little bit more than that if I'm going to put a first-round pick in on the guy. Like I said, he has a clear path to the starting job. Opportunity is everything in fantasy. But I'm not going to reach on a first for a player that I'm really not sold on.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, if you're taking him where some of the drafts that I've been seeing, where, he's going earlier than what you're seeing, David, you are absolutely putting your chips in on the table saying he is going to have a Bucky Irving style rise. He is going to have a Bucky Irving style season where, look, Bucky Irving's going as RB7 in a lot of drafts right now. I've seen Bucky Irving traded for the 103, 104, which I think is insane. But you're hoping to be able to parlay him next offseason into one of those premier picks. Like you said, he's an older running back coming out. So that will limit how long of a shelf life he's expected to have, along with having some injury history and workload history from his college seasons. But going over here to Dynasty Data Lab, we'll look at running backs currently going in a startup around him. All right, so we got RJ Harvey at pick number 74 right down here, RB20 off the board. You got Caleb Johnson going directly before him. Some people like Harvey better than Caleb Johnson because of the landing spot and the draft capital combined. You got him going right in front of Chuba Hubbard. Look, if you told me that I could get the production of Derrick Henry, call me a production king. That's what I like. I like to win money. I understand that, as unfortunate as it is, most dynasty leagues these days end up folding after the third, fourth season. It sucks. I hate knowing that fact, but I'm trying to win money. I'm trying to play to win the game. There's still plenty of teams that I'll tear it down to the bones. I'll start up and just trade away all the picks. Just gives me any future assets just because I think it's fun from time to time to try and do. But At current RB20 prices, you look at the other rookies on this board, Caleb Johnson at 19, Judkins at 12, Henderson at 10. I mean, there's a ton of rookies in front of him. So knowing that, they're going to have to see a dip or lesser of production this coming season for RJ Harvey to really have that meteoric rise that most dynasty managers taking him early are expecting. So,
yeah.
reasonable?
Yes, absolutely. And to keep going on with the Irving comparison, Bucky Irving, fantastic player, but a lot of what he did because he was part of a terrible running back class. At the time, we thought maybe, best case scenario, 3 solid starters. Now, what happened? Jonathan Brooks never got healthy. Trey Benson couldn't beat out Amari DeMarcado or whatever his name is. Blake Corum, maybe still alive. I'm not sure. So there is no one in that class. In order for Harvey to have that type of rise, to really be like the guy that no one saw coming, he'd probably need to be better than at least 2 of Ashton Genty, Trevian Henderson, Amarian Hampton, Quinshon Judkins, Caleb Johnson. Do you really see that happening? Because I don't.
Man, having a season that's higher than 2 of those, I find that very hard to believe just looking at their landing spots and the prospect profile. Look, can I see a path where he has a better season than Caleb Johnson? Sure. Can I see a path where he has a better season as an aggregate season than Hampton? Very unlikely, but you can see a path to it. That path would be where Najee gets a decent amount of workload. Hampton slow walks his way into the offense, yada, yada, yada. Possible, slim percentage chance, but why does everybody love this landing spot? That is the question that many people have already gone over, but let's reiterate it. We got Sean Payton as an offensive play caller. You've already mentioned how great he is at being able to scheme up blocking schemes, be able to scheme up his running backs getting open out of the backfields for those so juicy PPR reception points for running backs. And then you look at it and you say, oh, okay, you have Quinn, who is one of, if not the best guard in the game, who's an absolute mauler, just creating holes that David, me or you could probably run through. We'd probably get immediately hit, but we could run through those holes. You got Ben Powers, who is a little bit of a disappointment coming in free agency last offseason, but still, he's an okay producer. He's not a liability. You got Bowles still being an absolute stud at left tackle for them. You got McGlinchey doing exactly what he did for the 49ers for so long out there at right tackle. And then you got Luke Wattenberg at center, who we were discussing pre-show. Terrific pass blocker. Leaves some to be desired in the run game. But you think about the maturation of Bo Nix going into his sophomore season in the league. Yes, I get it. The offense didn't do a ton to add weapons around Bo besides adding Evan Ingram at tight end. They tried to take a shot at Pat Bryant. We'll see how that plays out. But Sean Payton can scheme up his wide receivers and tight ends getting open, which will leave plenty of room out of the backfield for dump offs from Bo Nix if he just needs to check it down and be able to stay on target, on down and distance moving forward. Is there any competition in this backfield, David? Because I don't think there's a single person in this backfield that should sniff north of 70 carries besides
nobody
Harvey.
That's fighting for a full role at all. It's pretty much Harvey's job to lose. If he can't lock down the full-time starting job from week 1, I'm in full-blown panic mode. And one thing I'd like to point out too is that normally when you think of Sean Payton's offense, you think of a real run-heavy attack, which wasn't surprisingly the case last year, especially with a rookie quarterback. According to rbsdm.com, which is an advanced analytic website, the Broncos had a 1% pass rate over expectation, which means factor in game script, factor in down distance, all that stuff. The Broncos were throwing it a little bit more than what you'd expect from a league average offense, and they were doing that with a rookie quarterback. Now, Bo Nix isn't the most aggressive. There's going to be a lot of checkdowns that go Harvey's way, but if you're looking for a running back that's going to have like a path to 300 carries, I don't think that's in Harvey's workload. Or really, he's probably capping up at like 200, I'd say, because this team isn't going to obsessively run the ball like you'd expect from a Peyton offense with a quarterback that isn't Drew Brees.
Yeah, I think that's a great call out. Realistically, talking PPR points here, if you're trying to set a realistic expectation for RJ Harvey, because there's a lot of people out there that are way in front of their skis saying RJ Harvey is going to put up 17 points per game this coming season. Look, those are RB1 type numbers as a rookie. I find it incredibly hard to believe that that is going to be where he sits, but could he put up somewhere in that 13 to 14 points per game this season? I think that is realistically the outcome, which would put him as a rookie, as a mid RB2, maybe potentially a low end RB2, depending on how the 2025 season plays out. David, realistically, where are you seeing RJ Harvey as a rookie for this 2025 season?
I think that's about right. Probably more towards 12 than 13, 14 for me, just because I'm not as big of a fan of him as a player. But I can't deny the opportunity. Peyton's going to give him every shot in the world to win the job, be the guy. And if he's even an okay player in this situation, it'll lead to pretty decent fantasy results.
Yeah. All right. Well, love everything that we've talked about. Hopefully this has been actionable data for everybody listening. We really appreciate it. We're working on getting to 1,000 subscribers. I think we're somewhere around 750 right now. So if you liked what we gave you, I thought that it was actionable content, please subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. And yeah, have a good night, David.
See you guys.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Football RPG Podcast. If you made it this far, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to check out written content, head over to lastwordonsports.com.
Don't let the goblins get you.